A brand new take on the isekai genre? Count me in. Hello anime fans and welcome back to Manga Horse, the horse with a funny accent. Today we are finally going to talk about the wonderful new anime and the highly acclaimed manga, Dr. Stone. Let me tell you that I wanted to make this video about the minute I watched the first episode, but because I haven't got the chance to read the manga yet, I figured I would wait a few episodes, get the general idea and feeling of the show, and then tell you what I think. And boy, do I have some thoughts about it, as always. Remember, if you like this video and you want to see more in-depth videos about Dr. Stone, Attack on Titan, Psycho-Pass and much more, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell thingy to let YouTube know that you like that stuff. Also, go check out my Facebook page Manga Horse, where I have a group for Dr. Stone fans and much more. And one last thing, by the time this video is released, there are already 3 episodes of the show that have been out already, so this video will involve some spoilers from those episodes, but as always I will try to keep them to a minimum. So what exactly this show is about? Dr. Stone is a sci-fi adventure shonen from the TMS Entertainment Studios that is without a doubt is going to be one of the best animes you could watch this summer. Our main protagonists, which are both high schoolers of course as expected of a well-designed shonen anime, are Senku, which is the one on all the covers you see for the show. He is a science-loving boy genius, and his friend Taiju, who is actually the one we get to meet first on the first episode. Our story begins when Taiju finally decides to confess his love to his friend Yuzuriya, but the moment he starts talking, a strange blinding flash of light surrounds him and he turns into a stone. Following that, we see that phenomenon striking apparently every other region of the world, leaving all humans petrified as stone statues, while the animals are seemed not to be affected, with one exception that I will get to in a moment. We then get a montage to show us how the world is changing while all humans are trapped inside their stone cages, while the animals roam free and probably enjoying life much more now when there is no one to hunt them, besides of course other animals. And we basically get a version of our universe that was not being affected by hands of humanity for more than 3,000 years. For some mysterious reason, after thousands of years of being trapped inside a stone, Taiju is suddenly able to break free after a mysterious substance dripping out of the cave ceiling dissolves the stone surrounding him, and he finds himself surrounded by a lush forest with no apparent signs of civilization, apart for some other humans who are still in stone form. After designing himself a stylish caveman outfit, he sets off, following the river in hope to find a tree where he last saw his friend Yuzuriya before turning to stone. He finds her after a while still intact but also still in a stone form. Then he notices a writing on a tree that says, "Follow the river, you big oaf." Knowing this is the nickname Senku used to call him, he follows the river and indeed finds Senku, who apparently has been awake for about 6 months already. He follows Senku back to his camp and surprised to find out that Senku not only managed to survive for all this time alone, but also managed to build a little cabin on a tree. Senku then tells him that they both have been in stone state for 3,689 years and 158 days. But the most remarkable thing about it is that he managed to calculate this while being frozen inside a stone, awake all the time and counting the seconds, nearly blacking out every 8,000 seconds and then keeping himself awake. That fact only should have driven Senku to a slow stage of madness, but fortunately, he is fine and his brain is fully functional and ready for any science-related task at hand. Very soon, the couple develops a very distinct dynamics, where Senku is the brain, in charge of all things that require thinking, and Taiju is the bronze, who's in charge of the physical task of their little operation. Right from the start we understand each of their goals. Senku, which is very science-driven, just like the show itself, wants to kickstart humanity using science and to find a cure for releasing all of the people in the world from their current stony stage, and to bring humanity back to modern age in as little time as possible, opposing for the original 2 million years that took humanity to come that far in the first place. He is certain that every phenomenon can be explained with the power of science, Taiju simply wants to save his friend Yuzuria from her petrified state and to finally confess his love to her after waiting all those years. Senku soon realizes that the reason the stone around them dissolved is because of the fluid dripping in the cave Taiju woke in, which is actually nitric acid that is formed out of bat's guano, which is literally bat poop. I won't get into the chemistry in this video because this is a review video, but I will make a separate breakdown video that will explain what is real and what is not in this story. But just so you know, the science and the theory behind almost every aspect of this show so far is very accurate. And I say this very carefully, because in our world there is no possible way for this thing to happen for many reasons that I will explain in my future breakdown video. After collecting enough nitric acid, the two boys try to break free one of the birds that was also turned into stone. This is a very important issue in this show, because apparently prior to the light that made all humans into stone, lots of stone birds were found lying around. My guess, without getting too much into it, is that the birds must have been some sort of test before trying this on humans, and I mean by the person or organization that started this whole thing. And again, this is only a guess after watching 3 episodes, and also, as you remember, the blinding light that affected the humans did not affect the animals, except of course for those specific birds. No matter how much they try, they cannot wake up the stone birds. Senku explains that if they had some alcohol, they could make something much more potent, called Nile, which is a compound that can dissolve metals. And after Taiju manages to find some grapes, the two start the process of making wine. And after a long process, they manage to make enough wine that contains enough alcohol for them to use. And after all this time, they actually succeed and manage to break free one of the stone birds. Apparently, they have found a cure. Taiju, of course, wants to use the liquid to wake up his friend, Yuzuria, but they had to make some more in order to do that. But, while in the forest, the couple comes across a pack of lions that chase them. In order to stay alive, they decide to wake up instead one of the strongest high schoolers, Shishio Tsukasa, that indeed comes to life and literally punches a lion to death, and thus saving the two. Shishio tells the two boys that from now on, they don't need to worry about food and protection, because he will be in charge of both. While Taiju is very happy to have such a strong person with them, Senku seems to be a bit more concerned about what will happen if this strong person will ever try to cross them. Being that strong, he knows that they will never manage to protect themselves from him. And soon enough, he realizes that he was right. Because Shishio, who apparently had some rough encounters with adults in his past, decides that he wants to wake up only the young people and to make an equal society without any grown-ups. The problem is that he starts to destroy each statue that he thinks will not fit in his perfect world. After seeing this, Senku decides to fake their escape in order to fool Shishio to think they are scared, but in fact he has some other plan in mind. The two boys finally manage to wake up Yuzuria and then run together from their camp. Then we see that Shishio is not only strong, he is also very smart. He realizes what is the liquid that breaks the stone, and also he finds out very fast what is Senku's real plan, which is to reach one of the volcanoes in Japan in order to make some gunpowder to defend themselves against him. He then starts following their tracks in order to catch them before they could make some, and that is where we are now on the show. Now, I really didn't want to get into many other small details in order for you to enjoy the episodes for yourselves, including the very surprising origin of the name Dr. Stone, which quite frankly surprised me and also made me laugh. Dr. Stone is a brilliant and, may I say, refreshing new take on the isekai genre, and also a very unique anime that tests us viewers with questions about good and bad in a world without people, and also walk a thin line between fantasy and science, while giving us scientifically proven explanations in a very different fantasy world, and therefore I find it very unique. If you are worried about this show being only about science, you can relax. This show is absolutely hilarious, with relatable characters and lots of fun moments that you will never forget. and I mention again the origin of the name Dr. Stone, which still makes me laugh. Yes, I did refer to it as an isekai, and yes, I know that a lot of people who watch this show already will not agree with this statement because, by definition, the isekai genre consists of a protagonist who is being transported, trapped or reborn in a parallel universe, which in most cases is a fantasy world. While Dr. Stone, the world we get is actually our world only few millenniums in the future. So we actually been transported to another world, kinda, using the power of science, and that makes it an isekai, and a very clever one I must say. So yeah, go check that out as soon as possible, because this show is about to blow up and become a huge thing, and I will surely be here following and making videos about it and the science behind it. I really hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please subscribe and drop a like to let me know that you like this. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope I will see you in my next video. And always remember, in the fantasy world of Dr. Stone, science has an answer for everything.